Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for Concierge Confidential. My name is Miguel Pena. We are here once again with an amazing interview with the legendary Grace Della from Miami Culinary Tours. How are you, Grace?
Good, very good. How are you, Miguel?
Good, thank you. I mean, it goes back more than a decade that I first met you. And when I first saw you and you mentioned the whole concept of the tour, I said, okay, it may work, it may not, but it just went off like gangbusters. And now it's probably like one of the most hottest tours. When we go to the desks, when we have guests come to our desk at the hotels, they all want to experience a flavor du jour of Miami. And Grace, you are the person. So tell us about Miami Culinary Tours.
Thank you, Miguel. So I, when I first started, I saw that nobody was actually introducing, the culture behind the food to folks coming to Miami. And, if you think about these, there's so many Caribbean cultures. We have such an amazing talent in terms of chefs. And I kept asking myself, like, why is not anybody showing, people the food, right? And teaching them about the food. So I started with Little Havana. I remember that even walking, Balanchine was not even there, okay? I was walking on the streets of Little Havana. And some of the restaurants were like, what is this crazy lady showing folks, how, empanadas and croquetas and guarapo juice. And that's how I got started. And then I was lucky enough, I hired really good talent. A good company, it's all about the talent that you hire. And I still have the, same team, most of my team, we have now 13 tour guides, have been with me for years, okay? We're talking like 9 years, 8 years, 5 years. So, we expanded from Little Havana, then we moved to South Beach, Wynwood, the Design District, and finally, less than a year ago, we started doing it in Coconut Grove.
Nice. So what is the more popular tour out of all the components that you have? Which is the most demanding tour? Because I know they sell out fairly quickly. You only have 12, 14 seats per time slot?
Yes. So 14 was our max pre-coronavirus. It's going to be now, of course, under the CDC guidelines. So our most popular tour is the one in Little Havana. People are fascinated, with the neighborhood. So that's the one. I mean, before, up to March, we were doing, we were running between 5 to 10 tours a day. In Little Havana. So we can't wait to go back. And, July is the month, hopefully.
Good. July is a month for many things. So hopefully everything will be back to normal once again.
Yes.
So walk us through the tour. So you meet at a certain destination and then tell us how it all progresses. So those people that are still on the fence, whether they want to do the tour or not, will get a complete view of what to expect.
Okay, absolutely. So we start at Agustin Gainza Arts and Gallery. I've been with those folks. I mean, if you're not familiar with Agustin Gainza, he's a Cuban-born artist, a very a renowned Cuban artist. His work is just amazing. So we start at the gallery. So the gallery and tavern, we introduce Agustin Gainza. We talk a little bit about what they're going to experience. Because we do a combination between culture and food. So we start at Agustin and then we walk just where you are, okay? We walk one block and we start with Café Cubano. We teach folks how to order Café Cubano, the different types of Cuban coffee that you can get. And we make them try an empanada. And we cover, what is picadillo, the different types of empanadas, why, an empanada from Colombia is different from one from Argentina, what makes the empanada that we try Cuban. So then after that, we move on to, we go to Domino Park, we interact with the viejitos, the elderly, then we cross the street, we go to Ball and Chain. because now it's time for that mojito that everybody is waiting for. So we do a wonderful mojito stop there. We cover rum, the history of the mojito. Then after that, we get out and we go to another spot and we have a croqueta. We explain folks, what is a croqueta, and you will be surprised, Miguel, that many folks have not tried this food before, okay? So then after the croqueta, we're gonna cover a little bit of this wonderful street art that you find now in Little Havana, and we go into Yisil Bakery. We have a guava and cheese pastelito. Then after that, we move to Los Piñaderos Fruteria. That family has been there for more than 20 years. It's an open fruit market. And there we have guarapo juice. And to the surprise of everybody, actually, I'll tell you. So we know, I typically have some sugar cane, right? So even rum and the guarapo juice starts with a sugar cane, and people try that, and then we cover all these different, roots and vegetables that are widely consumed in Caribbean cultures. Then after that, we try churros. And if I always say, if you want to find out, those words are how we order in Miami. So churro is a pastry started in Spain. Much like a lot of food in Cuba was adopted. Its influence is in the Spanish culture, as Cuba was under the Spanish colonization the longest. So churros, that's one of the treats that we do. Then we do, am I forgetting something? Then we go to azúcar ice cream. We cover, again, in between stops, we go to a cigar factory. We give folks a first-hand experience. We try to stay very out of that touristy, not, just covering something without, maybe people want to jump in and try to make, a Cuban cigar. And because we have been in the neighborhood for so many years, we have those contacts. We can walk into places. We can cover art or let folks roll a cigar. We can bring you behind the scenes. Show you how Agustin Gainza sometimes he's painting, or how they make the ice cream. So in a nutshell, that's our tour in Little Havana. So
nice.
5 to 6 different food stops, 2.5 hours. Walking, everything is very close together, so it's very easy for folks. Plenty of shade. We know where are the shady spots, and water throughout, and of course that mojito, that rum, that start, doing its magic right away. So
there you go. Good. I'm excited. It's amazing. I'm sure I've had many guests come back and tell me how amazing the tours have been, because you really nail it. As I said, it's not commercial. It's almost like being with family. Like you visited some distant relatives in a distant country or distant land, and they're walking you through the process. It doesn't appear to be a tour whatsoever. And that's what's so amazing about it. Now, question for you. You've been around for many years in South Florida. You obviously are, I would label you as a culinary expert. How do you see the culinary world 10 years ago versus today in South Florida?
Okay, so love that question, because I can go on and on about that. When I first started, we were, compared to other cities, we were limited, right? So I spent 10 years in San Francisco. I came to Miami and I was like, what's going on, Throughout the last 10 years, it is amazing how our culinary landscape grew. And one of the things that I love the most is that you have these folks, we can name chefs, Rapi Cavioli, Beltran, of course, many young, talented chefs that are creating very, contemporary dishes, but using those authentic ingredients from our countries, right? From Central, South America. So then you have these amazing creations that can, that they're using the plantain, and they're using, the shuca and the malangas, and Beltran at Arieta's restaurant in Coconut Grove, he makes this flan with this very exotic mushroom.
A flan with mushroom?
Yes, and you will
Oh,
be
wow.
amazed. Yeah, amazed when folks try that. I love that. I love that about what's happening in the culinary landscape in Miami. You have amazing talent playing with these ingredients that Mama used to, use in the kitchen, but bring it for a more elevated palate. So that's what I've seen that has been developed more and more. I mean, the names of the restaurants and the chefs, it's endless, right?
True.
To start. But it's just quite amazing. I love that. I call it, when folks, ask me, I call that, contemporary Miamian cuisine or elevated Caribbean, which in the word elevated is more creative Caribbean. Okay, that's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. Creative Caribbean. So yes, amazing how Miami, boom, in the last 10 years grew to be one of the top cities in terms of being in the culinary landscape in the world.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to be here. Now, what do you see as the most trending cuisine currently? I remember years ago it was sushi, and then recently, a few years ago, it was ceviche. So what is it now? Or is it something that's coming up that we don't know about that you certainly want to let everyone know about?
So for Miamians, I think that what we're really excited about is to seeing, good barbecue, good Southern barbecue coming. I mean, if you go to the Citadel, I mean, that Southern cuisine, I think is making a comeback. That, brewery culture, right? That is,
Okay.
I think that, Miamians and visitors are looking, for different things. Of course, we locals love, the typical dishes, but it's a very, there's a very, very, there's a line between what folks that come to Miami want and what locals are now, want to, experience. I mean, one of the things I think is, I'm in love with the falafel from Michael's Genuine, Michael Swartz. I mean, that's one of my biggest obsession. I mean, falafel, right? I mean, this is Miami, and he makes actually the best falafel ever. Or the chef at KYU with that short rib that you're like a
True.
masterpiece. So, locals versus visitors. I think, they're, and tying up to with that, what we do in our tours is, in Wynwood, we try to feature, we have a lot more locals going to our Wynwood
Hmm.
tour and the Design District tour. So we try to show, that type of food. I mean, locals, they know the croquetas and they know the pastelitos. They're looking for, what's the latest bite, to be had.
Okay. Now, I'm a friend. I'm a friend, never been here before. Where does Grace want me to go both for actually for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Doesn't have to be part of your tour. Anywhere in Miami, this is a must visit kind of place. Where would that be?
Okay, for breakfast, I will say go to El Pub restaurant right behind you for a nice hearty Cuban breakfast. For lunch, it's a very hard choice, Miguel, because
Hmm. True.
for lunch lately, I've been really, really obsessed, with KYU and Winwood Kitchen and Bar. It's a classic. For dinner, okay, you want to splurge for dinner. Ember in the Design District, Chef Kilor, I was there a few months ago. I was blown away by his cuisine. Um, you know, Also dinner, sugarcane in Midtown Miami. That's a classic. It's
True.
a beautiful, night out. I love the ambience there. I love that they don't blast music. They just play that beautiful Miami music. So many places, Miguel, so many places.
It's true. So many choices. Well, I've got the list. That's good. Thank you very much, Grace, for all that you do. everybody has to eat. And if you come to South Florida, you definitely want to enjoy the cuisine, the flavor du jour, so to speak, of South Florida. And the place to go and experience everything would be Miami Culinary Tours. Book quickly, though, because they do fill out very soon, starting in July. And Grace, I want to thank you for joining us. You're an amazing individual with a plethora of knowledge. And I'm sure that anyone that takes your tour will be exceptionally satisfied. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Miguel. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.